Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 back with another review video. This time we're taking a look at the second package that ICStation sent me recently. And this is it pretty much. It says 10 centimeter Tesla coil. And I was under the impression that this was a kit. I honestly didn't really read the listing quite through so well. I just saw, oh cool, it's one of these PCB Tesla coils. I thought that you soldered and whatnot, but no, it's a complete unit. This isn't particularly cheap. I believe this was 70 something at the time that I asked them if they would let me review it, and this was about like 2 months ago. And there's a story behind that. Basically, this all looks great. The AC adapter didn't work, so I sent an email and I've been reaching out to them to see if they can maybe send me another one or something, but I haven't heard back yet. Anyway, let's just take a look at the unit itself right now. Yeah, and you might notice, very interestingly, it has Bluetooth. This acts as a Bluetooth speaker, a high voltage Bluetooth speaker. We'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, let's just get it out of the case. Yeah. So, here's the unit itself. You can see, yeah, the PCB is the actual secondary, as well as the primary on the other side there. And it's just connected with 3 wires over to the main board, and that includes all the drive electronics there. You can see pretty beefy low ESR caps on the input. 2 potentiometers, one to control power and one to control frequency, and a switch to switch between playing music or just being a regular old Tesla coil. Inside we can see some inductors. Sorry about that. You can see just about some inductors, some trannies, I guess, to drive the primary side. A CMC choke. We can see here the Bluetooth module. It's actually a separate module. And some control circuitry, probably some op amps and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the circuitry is actually not that complex, and you can just about see mounted on the other side on this pretty massive heatsink that they're using kind of as a base are the main drive transistors, and those are going to be pretty high wattage. And yeah, they're interestingly bent over and mounted kind of upside down. And everything's encased in perspex, very neatly so. It uses these corner brackets and some like hex screws on there. But yeah, very nice construction. Definitely, I was a little bit questioning the price, especially if I was under the assumption that this was a kit, and $70 for a kit is pretty expensive. But yeah, seeing the actual device, it's already built, tested, at least this guy's tested, hopefully. One thing that I did notice also, they sent kind of a few things to play around with. And if I just dump all them out right now, there we go. You can see another problem. This had a pretty rough time getting here, and one of the these neon bulbs, I think this is one of the green phosphor ones. Just take a UV flashlight. No, actually it might be white. Yeah, it's not glowing green or anything. So yeah, this is probably like a white neon bulb effectively. And this is cracked. So yeah, that happened. But luckily they send you 4 of them, and the other one's just fine. And I have 2 just regular run-of-the-mill neon bulbs without the phosphor. So we can play with that in a second. And they send you the little spike that goes on the top here, and it just screws on. And basically, if you know anything about like electricity and whatnot, especially high voltage, they like pointy bits. not so happy with non-pointy bits. But anyway, so yeah, we got this to play around with. I can run around and see if I can find any other CCFLs to light up here. But yeah, onto the main problem that I was having was, as I knock everything over, was the adapter that it came with. Plugged it in the first time. I got all excited. I plugged this into the unit. Nothing happened. I was like, okay, there's probably a power switch on here. No, there isn't. And this did nothing no matter what I switched or changed any of the knobs fiddled with. It did nothing. And then I looked at the supply. I'm like, oh, that's probably an indicator. It's not lit up. The AC adapter doesn't work. Then I measured the output and it was 0, so clearly it did not work. Okay, so huge problem that I've had. The adapter that they sent doesn't work. And I'll be honest, I reached out to my contact at the company and it's been radio silence. It's been about 2 weeks now. And I only sent the one email. I'm not going to bother her. But at the same point in time, I figured if they wanted me to review this, I mean, they should have definitely reached out. And at the very least, offered me another adapter or something. Because this is an uncommon voltage. If you look at the label here, it is output 48 volts at 2 amps. I don't have any of an adapter that can do that, so I'm kind of stuffed. If this were just a regular 12-volt adapter, I could dig one together. That's not a big deal. But yeah, if a reviewer is receiving a dead adapter, then you can kind of expect that anyone else who's actually purchasing this will probably get a dud as well, statistically likely. And so I took a Dremel to the sides. I thought this was one of those sealed containers, but it actually has clips. And I ended up cutting away most of them, unfortunately. But let's just pop this guy open. There we go. So yeah, so I took the long way around, the hard way, to get into this guy. And when I looked at it, it's not great. You have your main DC link cap just flapping in the breeze, no elastic. Some of these soldering, there are a good number of cold joints on here, like 6 or 7, I would say. And so this tells me that they didn't actually test this because it clearly wouldn't have worked if they did so. So not too happy with that at all. But when I actually went through, let's see. We'll get something to point at it. This should be discharged. But anyway, I soldered this. This is the transistor that drives the primary side of the transformer that had what appeared to be a cold joint there. The capacitor for the regulator chip, which is this 8-pin dip right in here, and that's what pretty much runs the entire show. The cap that was decoupling that supply had a cold solder joint, I believe, on the positive input. So I soldered that. One of the leads, now this wouldn't have affected anything, I don't think. This is a double diode. It's for the post-secondary rectification, effectively. And one of the leads was, one of the pins was a cold solder joint. I just heated that up. But because they're two diodes essentially in parallel, the other one looked fine. So I don't think that would have stopped it from working. What did bother me, though, is I think it was this. What is that component? If I just flip it over, that appears to be a blue LED. The lead was, they didn't crop it short enough, and it was pushed over, and it was just about shorting, it looked like. That could have maybe tripped overcurrent protection and prevented the output, the output from outputting. So I just bent that back. Now it's fine. And I think one other thing didn't look so great soldering wise. Well, they forgot to solder the tab on the shielding, or the heat sinking plate. That wouldn't have done anything, but it was just kind of wobbly because all it was supported by was the transistor leads that are screwed to it. So I just soldered that as a due course. And I think like 1 or 2 other things. There's some little like balls of solder hanging around that I brushed aside a little bit. One kind of in between the spark gap here. So anyway, I cleaned that off. I did anything that looked suspicious. I resoldered, or if the lead was bent over too close, I just bent it back to make sure nothing shorted. And lo and behold, plug this in, works now. So I'm getting about 48, 50 volts on the output. That's all good. The LED lights up. The only thing is, I don't like, this cord is insanely short. It's like not even a foot long. So I don't have any like outlets that are like right next to my workbench that aren't currently in use. So what I'm going to do is, you can see here, The way this is arranged, you can actually solder anything else to it pretty much. So I have this much longer cord, and it is significantly heavier duty. So what I'm going to do is cut away the case so I can fit this. Actually, it might even fit with just minimal cutting. And I'm going to solder this in place of those wires right there and just make the cord a little bit longer. And to wrap everything up, no pun intended, I'm just going to wrap this in duct tape because the case is a bit chewed up, but it'll do its job. So I'll be back in a sec after I'm done all this. Then we can plug it in and safely test this. And then what I'm really excited for, plug this into the base unit, the Tesla coil, and do a few tests with that. Okay, so what do you know? I didn't have to cut anything. The outside dimensions are different, but the inner width ended up being exactly the same. So it just press fits in. So I'm just going to put the rest of it back together right now. It sort of clips back together, but not quite. There you go. Yeah, actually it holds itself. So yeah, I guess I could forego the tape if I, yeah, it holds itself together well enough. I left enough of the tabs in place. But anyway, let's just fire this up and measure the output. Let me grab. Light comes on, that's good. And on the output, there we go, 48.6 volts. So I call that a fix. So okay, now that we know that the adapter works, let's just fire this up. I'm just going to turn down the lighting so you guys can see. And we're just going to, right now it's on music mode, so when I plug it in, it should do nothing. So the indicator comes on like before, and now I'm getting blinky lights. So that is a good sign. So let's just turn it, all the knobs are turned down as low as they can, both the power and the frequency. Let's just switch it over to the regular Tesla mode. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. A little bit better of an angle. So if I turn this up, oh yeah, by the way, if I haven't already, apologies headphone users. If I increase the power, you can see the spark is significantly larger. I'm not going to increase it that much. I'm on my bench. I do have some sensitive electronics somewhat nearby. I don't feel like moving, so I'm not going to fry everything. Anyway, we can increase the frequency as well. And so at its lowest frequency, it's probably about like maybe 5 hertz. Highest frequency might go up to a couple hundred, maybe a kilohertz. Yeah, I would say about a kilohertz or so. But yeah, let's just shut that off for a second. Yeah, that's already a lot of fun. Let's grab one of these bulbs and see what they do. So yeah, you can see every time it sparks, the bulb flashes. And basically, I'm not touching the wires. They're nowhere near. You know, they're about 3 or 4 inches away from the unit itself. It's coupling through the air, and my body is capacitively coupling through ground, basically, and that's what's happening. If we increase the frequency, you can see it basically lights up. Full duty, basically. And if we take the other one with the phosphor, this one's a little harder to see, but yeah, it is glowing. Kind of an orangish white. I could do that all day. Yeah, let me run around and see if I can find any other CCFL bulbs or any tubes or whatnot. So give me one sec. Okay, so I grabbed some goodies here. I don't think this will work. It's a VFD tube. Specifically, this is an IV22. Now, these are vacuum, so there shouldn't be any gas in here, so this should do absolutely nothing. Surprise, surprise, does absolutely nothing. And this I know will work. I have some Nixie tubes. These are symbols. They're not actually digits, unfortunately. And I mistakenly ordered these quite a while ago, and I think I have a set of 6 of them, and I have no use for them because they're just symbols. So I might make a random nightlight, but I can't use them as a clock or anything. Anyway, these are model number, what is this? IV19B? Or IN19B, sorry about that. But yeah, this should do something. Look at that. Just turn that down. Yeah, you can see where I'm actually holding it. It is actually lighting up. And it's kind of a purple color, so maybe obviously there's neon in here. But there might be a small amount of argon or something like that that's giving kind of the purple color, bluish purple. Yeah, closer I get, the brighter it is. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll keep looking. I know I have a box of random neon bulbs and like various tubes I pulled from like portable TVs, old CCFL tubes. I know I have them somewhere. I just need to find them. Hopefully I can. Okay, I looked and I looked and I looked and I couldn't find my stash, but I did find these 2 blacklight tubes, and these are actually quite old. This one in particular. And let's just see what they do, because I'm not sure exactly what gas is in these, but see if they actually light up. Well, there we go. So they actually don't light up, it looks like. Yeah, that's disappointing. I thought they'd do something. Yeah, apparently whatever gas is in here is not excited by this. Let me see if I can find something else. I am immeasurably sad and my day is ruined. I have a small box of neon and CCFL tubes, and over like everything I've ever taken apart that happened to have them, I saved them because I am a good hoarder, and I cannot find them. I recently moved my workspace into a larger room, and I have shelves with boxes and boxes behind me, and I just spent half an hour looking. I cannot find a single one. So I don't know where they are. I'm pretty sure I did not throw them out the last time I went through a mass throw out. I'm pretty sure that would be something that I would have saved, just because how unique they are. I have no idea where they are. I'm really sorry. I wanted to show you that. Anyway, besides that, we can actually still show off the music portion, which it's sitting in right now. I'm going to actually have to grab my tablet. I was testing a little bit with this phone that I'm filming on right now, but clearly I can't film and use the phone at the same time. So I'm going to grab my tablet and bring up some 8-bit music. I did a few tests, and square wavy music works great with this. Regular music, not so much. So give me a second, I'll get set up on that. Okay, I did another search, but actually in my other room, and I did find some, not all, but of the little tiny CCFL tubes. These came from portable TVs, and you can see actually these are both from Casio's, but the buttons on the front are actually for the tuning, but that's exactly how they backlit the screens. They have little tiny CCFL tubes. This was before like white LEDs were prevalent, and then just have like a bit of reflective material around it to angle it towards the screen and kind of try to, fill the entire screen. See, this one's like about 2 inches. The original screen was. This was about like 1.5 inches. Anyway, there's that. And then this I pulled from a, I think it was a viewfinder for a camcorder that had like an early kind of crappy LCD. But I opened it up. I expected to see an LED backlighting it, but no, it was actually this like flat, weird, uh, like CCFL bulb. I've never seen anything like it. You can see the tiny little nipple there. Anyway, yeah, and actually, interestingly enough, has a driver circuit built directly on the back of it. And at one point, I figured out how to drive this. I think there's an enable, a ground, and then power. And this will run down to like 3 or 5 volts, and it'll step it up to like the 100 something whatever that it requires. But anyway, we're gonna actually fire the Tesla coil up and see if these glow. And appropriate, so this is actually a couple days after I filmed the last segment, and appropriately, it's like 2 days before Halloween, and it's all like rainy and stormy outside, so I love it. Anyway, let's fire this guy up. There we go. I wonder if it being in circuit will make it not glow. Yeah, I think maybe either the bulb, I know this is a type of CCFL, but maybe the fact that it's in circuit means it's not gonna light up for us. Oh, I was hoping to try not to zap the wires. I don't want to have to desolder this. It's on like pretty cheap FR4s, so yeah, this one's not gonna light, unfortunately. Interesting thing to note, just turn this down a bit. Interesting thing to note, after a couple minutes it starts smelling like ozone in here, so there's always that. Oh, this is gonna piss me off if this won't even light up at all. So yeah, unfortunately, it looks like you need like the bare tube or something, maybe because it's like grounded through the circuit or something like that going on. Having them just like in an actual circuit with the driver circuitry attached won't allow them to light. And I know for a fact these are like the right types of tubes that they should theoretically light up. So yeah, it was worth a try. Let me grab my tablet and we'll do the music thing. That'll at least be pretty cool. There we go. So I have my tablet open right now. Bluetooth should be on. And here you can see it's popping up. I think it's the MHM18 one. So we're just going to try to pair it to that one. And it's asking me if I want to pair. So of course. And there we go. The blue light is on solid now. It was blinking, the one that you could see through the side there. And it says connected for audio. So let me pull up a video. Now I'm going to need to probably turn up the volume on my tablet all the way. Okay, so that was interesting. When I tested this on my phone, the one that I'm actually recording on right now, I guess the volume goes up louder for the Bluetooth, even though that makes no real sense. When I was playing the intro of my video, it didn't seem to actually do anything. I'll rewind this back right now. So it should be playing audio right now, but I guess it's not above the threshold that it needs. But as soon as it goes into the portion where I'm actually speaking, oh, there you go. You kind of can't tell what it's sort of inaudible, but you can see, supposedly this is the audio. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need, maybe I have the audio level set too low in the video. So let me see if I can find the actual like audio file and play that back directly. Okay, so here I have directly from Eric's video, and volume turned all the way up, and the volume's like 3/4 right now, just so I can kind of control it. Now, when this works, it's loud. But anyway, let's fire this up. So, warning headphone users, obviously. So yeah, as evidenced by that, it sort of works for audio. Basically, you need something where it's sort of like relatively loud volume, like square wave kind of music. I've tried just like regular music, and I guess like the average power isn't high enough or something, and so it gets filtered out, and you might only hear the peaks, and it's not going to be that loud. So yeah, but I mean, playing back like chiptune kind of music worked actually pretty well. Let me see if there's something else I can find. Okay, let's try one more thing. I'm gonna try something with a little more dynamic range, and it's a song called "Up in My Jam" by Cubby. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Let's see if this will fire up. Okay, as you could tell from that, yeah, like normal music kind of doesn't work with this. And it smells like ozone in here. Wow, like quite a bit. So anyway, I guess this was a review. This was a really weird video, I'll admit. So yeah, like I was saying, this was a weird video. I didn't expect to have to fix this power supply, but I did. Luckily, I was able to get it working. The Tesla coil works as a Tesla coil. The music function, I think, is a bit gimmicky, but I mean, I guess if you're into like really simple chip tune kind of stuff, this might be kind of cool for about 10 minutes. I wouldn't actually use this, especially in like a small room, as just a general speaker. It's something that you'll show to friends and they'll be like, oh, that's so cool. But after that, yeah, I wouldn't use this as an actual speaker. It's not great quality. Clearly, it's not really made for that. It's slightly dangerous, and biggest thing is it's just not really sensitive enough for like anything beyond chip tunes, honestly. That sounds okay, but yeah, it's like really harsh sounding, as you would expect. It's literally, you know, ionization of the air, and then as it explosively expands due to the heat of the plasma that's generated, it creates like, shock waves of air. That's basically what's happening. So I mean, yeah, the fact that it works as a speaker at all is actually pretty interesting. But yeah, like I said, it's more of a novelty factor. Plus, I would generally use this for the actual Tesla coil functionality. That's really cool. Anyway, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this really random video. And if I ever find that stupid box of like little neon tubes and CCFLs, I swear I will make a follow-up video and I will test each and every one of them out. It's only a matter of time before I find them, hopefully. Hopefully I did not throw them out. Hopefully someone else did not throw them out. Anyway, I guess all that's left to say is hopefully you guys have a safe, happy, and healthy Halloween. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Don't know how I missed this. On the side of the box, it says "Salute Nikola Tesla." That's great.